We have Judgment EoS Championship going right now. And as we were talking about a little bit before, pretty much at World Finals and all through the playoffs and stuff, a lot of people were saying, hey, or came to the realization, it's like you get Ezreal and you get Sona and you kind of win your lane. And you were just commenting that, it's like, oh, Sona was right there. No one grabbed him. Said they've picked up Tarek now and Nunu. What exactly is going on here? I imagine it's definitely a scenario where Long Lee is going to be taking that Nunu into the jungle and probably doing some serious counteraction maybe to Tsatsulow. But you never know. I know RoshanNow is not going to play support. He's probably going to put that role on someone else on his team. Instead, he's going to take over mid or bot or whatever he decides he wants to pick up. We saw that before in our live Judgment in Vancouver when he actually ended up taking over AP mid and was playing a lot of Kennen and stuff like that. And it's nice for him. This is kind of like one of those nice moments where he gets to venture outside of the support role and play some other roles and show what he's got.
They've made their team, but it doesn't seem like it has a lot of CC. The only hard CC they have is an Udyr Resistance, which can be easily kited by Graves or anyone really. And then they have Tarek's none, so it's like they lack CC and not too much AoE aside from Absolute Zero and Homoplague. Their team is really it's really based off Ez with Blood Boil and peeling for Ez basically.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting comp. Udyr apparently is actually a proxy pick for Viger, so they're actually going to be playing Viger in this game. So that's not actually.
Yeah, but Udyr is like they're really mobile. The other team, so picking Udyr is kind of like he's gonna get kited. They don't have much engage. I can see Veigar working though.
There's been a lot of talk recently about Udyr and how kind of ineffective he kind of is as a jungler currently, just because he can get kited, and he's more of like, and people kind of play him incorrectly in certain ways, just because they try to make him like a super heavy ganker, when really he's more of like kind of like the manager jungling type of.
Yeah, he's
jungler.
More a control jungler.
Yeah. So we're just going to start it back up here. Thanks for waiting because of that proxy pick. So again, I wanted this big, huge explanation about Judgment and what it is. So I'm going to fill people in right now while I have a second. So what is Judgment? Judgment is basically we take 40 players, we get 8 captains out of those 40 players, and then they draft, much like fantasy football, snake style, from the remaining pool of 32 players, and they form up 8 5-man teams. Then we put them into a best-of-1 bracket. They duel it out for Riot prize support and other cool prizes, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. But one of the key factors to playing really well in Judgment, or having a winning team, is getting those those diamonds in the rough players, the players that even though you look at their elo and they don't look like it's that high, they're gonna like punch above their weight. They're gonna basically be like the turning factor for your team, because most of these teams are gonna pick up 2K elo plus players in their first couple rounds. Some platinum players, and then it's going to be up to those other players, kind of pull the weight, how they work with them, where do they position them on their team. Do they just try to hide them, or do they put them in a role that they're actually comfortable with? Maybe they have a few specific champions that are pretty, hard to lose with in lane, and so they're going to give them that role, and then, try to help them out by supporting them in the jungle with a higher elo player. I mean, there's a lot of different strategies. I mean, Brizaire, you've been very successful in Judgments. What is kind of your strategy when you come into Judgment?
Judgment, when I do play as a captain, like I think we came third last time, it's really just playing to your team's strength. I remember a few Judgments we lost because we tried forcing roles upon players and they really just weren't able to perform. So the thing is, it's more up to letting them kind of choose who they're comfortable with, and that's probably the best way you can win. And always sticking as a team. So if you make a call, you commit to the call as a team. There's no like indecision. So like someone says engage, when someone says engage, everyone has to go in. They can't be like 50% in, 50% out.
Yeah, I mean that's actually really good advice for team play just in general. To get your team on the same page and playing really well. I'm
looking at team comps. I'm surprised they sent another purple team, Tsatsulow's team. They sent another AP top on purple side, so they're not going to be able to give it blue buff.
Yeah. That's actually
So they
pretty
have
interesting.
two very mana.
I will say though that as a Swain, a fanboy a little bit myself, if you play him right and you can last hit and stuff like that, you can actually manage your mana pretty well. You don't necessarily need the blue buff to be the end all be all for him up top, but it will if he does like possibly get behind or anything. Then he's in a lot of trouble.
I think blue team have Vagar and Tarek are their only sort of engage, while purple team has a lot more engage. They have Blitzpull, they have Hecarim ulti, Malzahar's ulti, and Swain's Nethergrasp. So I think coming out of laning phase, blue team needs to come out ahead, or they'll have trouble engaging on purple. Two fights they want to fight.
Yeah, it's actually some really good points. I mean, the Blitz grab is going to be interesting because Intimate Bedtime, like I said, he's one of those players that he's a super value pick. I believe he was like one of the fourth picks down. So yeah, I think he was the third pick for this team. And I would definitely say that him on Blitz, there could be some sick action because between him and WizFusion, who WizFusion's absolutely excellent AD carry, I think that's going to be the big strength for the purple team or soon to be red team as we hop in with the color change, the colorblind color change. Because Benny Honda is not necessarily like the big heavy hitter for RoshanNow's team. Their heavy hitters are going to be in the jungle and having RoshanNow in mid lane on Viger.
Mm-hmm.
The Swift one's actually a really good top solo player. He used to main that a lot. Since he switched over to AD. I wonder if they've just kind of basically. I wonder if they're almost like doing a little bit of like a sacrifice their bottom lane strat. They're gonna try to focus on winning the top and mid lane, and then hope that their bottom lane can just hold and play safe. I mean, that has to be my guess what's going on. Or Benny Honda might be one of those players that comes out and surprises us. But, if you had to make me pick right now, I'd say that's like one of the big strong points for Purple Team just looking at the players. Is WizFusion, he's not going to miss CS. He's always going to be farmed. And then you combine him with Intimate Bedtime, who's a really good player, and he can get out those blitz grabs. And that might be chaos for their team. They might need a lot of support for Long Lee.
Yeah, and I think the game will come down to how Long Lee plays in the jungle. Not only will he have to kind of shut Tsatsulow down so he isn't able to snowball the solo lanes, but he'll also need to keep his tabs on bottom, just because of like you said, the cooperation difference between Intimate and Wiz versus Benny and Class.
So we've got 9 seconds left here. We're gonna be able to have this game. I'm actually pretty excited because a lot of these games we got 3 games going again. If you guys want, you can check out all the games that we are casting today. If you click that little info button below this video, you can actually find. Hold on, let me switch it over so people aren't blinded by my summoner blockers. But you can actually find links to all our other streams, RW Media 2, 3, and 4. They all have games going on right now from this tournament. So definitely go check out those streams. Open multiple streams. Have fun with it.
Are we doing a KDA contest?
For round 1, we're not going to do a KDA contest, but after this, we will. So game 1 is just going to be a fun, relaxing, nice little game, hopefully, and then we can move on from there. Of course.
Oh, the Skin Wars tied 4-4. But they have a legendary, so it's like 5-4. So blue team wins the Skin War.
Hey, the Skin Wars are really, really important. They're going to need that little extra boost.
Yeah, they're going to need that Nunubot's encouraging voice to carry them through this game.
Dope Ants, you don't get to complain about your anime time. You get to watch some League of Legends. These are going to be some good games. Don't worry. If they start. All right, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. So I don't know. Are you excited about the new Halloween skins? I know you've been chatting up a little bit.
Yeah, the Zombie brand, that taunt looks so sick. Besides Zombie Brand, I don't like Pat Rise. He has like so many skins, and it's like poor effects on that one. I don't like the Fiora skin either, partially because I hate Fiora as a champion.
Because she's boring.
No, no, no. It's more like every time I play Fiora, I just do terrible as her, but every time I face a Fiora, it's like the best Fiora in the world. And she just stomps me mid lane or top lane.
Their name is Format, and then you cry deep inside.
Okay, yeah, four man. Oh, this Fiora is pretty killer.
It looks so we get quick start by both teams out here. Looks like Graves is chugging towards that bottom lane, and RoshanNow's team. You know, the one thing I always say about his teams is their ability to win the level 1 team fight and to outplay his opponents. You know, I'm always going to bet on him, and it was actually one of the major factors when we did the USA versus Canada game that actually swung that game. Both times, RoshanNow's team came out way ahead in the level 1 team fights, and they just snowballed it from there.
When he was on my team, he makes really smart calls. Like he makes really well informed calls, and every time he made a call early on, it always worked out to our benefit. Like catching an Nivea once, going down river, he understood why and what they would do, and why would they do it, and like why would they go the way they're going, and he just has great game sense.
Yeah, and that's really huge in level 1, and this is one of my favorite parts of the game, just simply because there's so much potential to outplay your opponent and outthink your opponent, and it's so chaotic. It doesn't matter how good, necessarily skilled players are, like, at farming mechanically and stuff like that, which is how a lot of these players are well known. They get a lot of CS, they never get behind, and they make these awesome plays like that, but there's the level 1 stun, trying to follow up on Blitzcrank, Ultimate Bedtime, getting the follow-up stun. He's very, very low. There's the Ignite. He's actually going to flash over the wall, and with that Mana Shield, is just going to barely be able to survive.
I'm surprised no one flashed over or tried to secure that kill, but that was good by him. He burned a few summoner spells for his one.
Yeah, he actually burned a lot of summoner spells, sent Blitz back, and they're not even really worried about Blitz having to go back early. He's just the support. They can deal with that pretty well, and meanwhile Hecarim can just get his red buff and go about his business. It looks like also Vlad's going to get to lane a little bit late against this Swain too.
They both supports started off with Fairy Charm instead of like Boots, a ward, and a pot. So they're both kind of generally well safe with ganks because they have a lot of wards.
Yeah, I mean, they're going pretty ward heavy. I think a lot of times, especially with these early starts, we saw both teams actually ward that river, the Wraith River, bottom river. There, and it looks like we already see RoshanNow with wards on both sides of the river, so he's pretty well protected from any ganks that Tsatsulow wants to bring in on the mid lane, and that might be actually really smart, knowing Tsatsulow and what they want to do with him. And now we have a blue buff for both members, and that's going to be nice. RoshanNow is going to be able to spam all the spells he wants, and that's one of the advantages of taking that early blue buff.
Yeah, it really helps Veigar because it allows him to just farm his Q without worrying about keeping mana for his stun or his combo.
Yeah, it's actually going to be really good for him. Now, the bottom lane, it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to actually, you can actually just fully combo Ice Raven too in the mid lane pretty freely as well with that blue buff. But in the bottom lane, I haven't seen Ultimate Bedtime really make a grab yet. Tark is actually a pretty good support against Blitzcrank because you can just stun the AD in response to a grab or anything like that, and with Arcane Shift it's really hard to actually put damage on Ezreal with that combo.
There's a gank in mid lane. Roshan stuns and gets away, so not really a killing gank, but it pushes Roshan out of lane, so it gives kind of an advantage to Raven.
Yeah, so actually one of the fun parts about this game is we actually see Ice Raven here in the mid lane, and we also see Class in the bottom lane, and these guys are actually buddies. They actually duo queued together at EoS. So some friends happen to get drafted on other teams, and they face each other in round 1, so kind of fun games between them. I'm sure I'm interested to see, maybe what their banter will be back and forth as they play against each other. It looks like Longies actually meets Tsatsulow with double buff here in the river, so Tsatsulow popping some summer spells, and getting out of dodge with that extra speed, and he should be safe to get out of this. We saw RoshanNow actually rotating in there, possibly looking to catch him off, but he's not going to be able to get the angle.
The speed boost from Hecarim and just Ghost in general, like that initial burst is so fast. Catching him becomes like pretty hard. But he burns Summoner, so that's good. Hecarim won't have like a Ghost gank on any lane.
Yeah, Ice Raven really just auto-pushing with this Malzahar right here in mid against RoshanNow. RoshanNow actually demanding a lot of respect from him, though. You know, he's shying away definitely whenever RoshanNow gets in. And Swift one with the Ignite. He gets a heal, and that's just barely going to save him. He was almost gone.
Swain doing a really good job just bullying Vlad, making sure anytime he comes up he can EQ. And Swain's able to laser bird him while he's in his pool.
Yeah.
So it really helps him with his trading capabilities.
Yeah, it does a lot, especially with the advantage he has right now. It looks like Long Lee actually coming in here on a Vidica. He doesn't have a lot of mana. This is actually a good catch by Long Lee. Noticing that he was low on mana, he cannot really protect himself. He's actually going to dive this turret. Will he be able to get it? He is going to be able to get it. He's going to try to flash to get out, but he will not be able to do it. They're just going to trade in this top lane, but he's still going to come away with the first blood and give some nice breathing room to Swift One as he arrives here with a bunch of waves to take.
Yeah, it'll really help him catch up. He was 8 CS down before that, and he was getting bullied pretty hard. So if he can get a level lead and just sustain through his harass.
Looks like Graves actually pushing a little bit harder down here. And as we look at the CS, looks like pretty much everybody is even. RoshanNow, he's been doing a lot of rotation, and Malzahar with his auto farm and mid's actually out farming him currently. Right now, bottom lane's pretty much dead even. Every other lane's dead even. Jungle's actually pretty close, even though Hecarim's had to go farm some minions. But it looks like Long Lee's coming straight up lane, putting a lot of damage onto Wiz Fujin, but I don't think they're going to be able to catch this. There's a flash from Class to put some damage onto Intimate Bedtime, but they're not going to be able to get it. Oh, wow, he actually pulls him underneath turret, gets ignited, he will go down, and oh my gosh, I can't believe Ezreal was able to escape that. That was so, so close.
It was a good thought process. It's like one of the best Blitz gank videos on YouTube where you grab him.
Yeah.
But he just barely lived with 50 HP.
Yeah.
And got the kill, so it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, I mean,
and it was surprising to see the straight up gank just on bottom.
Yeah,
so well.
Yeah, just forcing it like that. Long Lee with some more aggression. I like this ward actually that they just placed. They had the timing down themselves. They know they can actually put that down to check it and protect themselves, try to protect themselves. Looks like they are going to try to take this blue buff, and they can do it really, really quickly, especially with Smite Consume. Looks like Tsatsulow gearing up to try to defend this. Blitzcrank rotating in here. Wiz Fujin actually hasn't rotated yet. And yeah, great actually move by Tsatsulow right there. Heads up, not losing his buff. So in the meantime, Wiz Fujin got to free farm, and they were able to still keep their buff with all that wasted time. So good move by the red team.
On top lane, Vlad's having a lot of trouble just trying to trade with Swain because of this just damage over time. But the blue buff going to Hecarim really helps Veigar because he's behind in CS already. So he won't have to worry about like Malzahar having free mana.
Oh, looks like we have a dive underneath turret. Doesn't have a lot of mana. He does put down the Ignite, and Swift One gets the heal just at the last second from a minion to live through that. Swift One's been living on the edge.
Yeah. We see Ezreal got a 8-minute BF sword, just went straight up for the attack damage. Ooh. Oh, there's a kill going down on mid. Oh, they traded kills.
Yeah, actually a big trade in middle, and Ezreal actually threw his ult up through there, but it completely missed everything. But yeah, basically Roshan is trading with mid. Oh, Benny Honda in a lot of trouble. With Fujin just needs one last thing, and actually Intimate Bedtime is going to steal the kill. Has the mana shields, it's barely going to be able to protect him, and that is a dead support bottom. This is kind of how I felt. I mean, not necessarily just like getting beat straight up in lane, but with a little bit extra support too. They're pushing big wave into the bottom lane. Looks like Longley's going to be able to clear this, which is a very smart play because at least someone's going to get that experience in gold. But yeah, I mean, this bottom lane is going to be a big sore spot for Team Roshan now.
That just shows how well they work together. They were down a whole BF sword damage-wise, but they're still able to win that exchange and go 2-0 before even the gank.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a really good point. And I think a part of it too was that they put a lot of their damage up front on Benny Honda before he was even able to get anything out. So right away, Benny Honda had to, defend himself or play defensively, try to get away, and so he actually wasn't able to output damage. And if you have a BF sword and you're not able to actually trade, then your BF sword's doing you nothing at that point. Instead, it would be better to be more of like the Graves build, have boots too, something like that.
You have the Dorange for the extra health and sustain.
Yeah, exactly.
Gank top lane, but it's worth it, so nothing big might come out of that. We see a gank middle lane, and that's a dead Zahar.
Yeah, and actually another kind of baited trade by RoshanNow, being like, "Hey, I'm low, let's do this," and Longley coming in there and helping secure the advantage for his team. So good play there. Actually, kills being traded back and forth, 4-4, and pretty much dead even gold. Only 300 gold difference, which is not a lot at all.
Roshan's been really good with the stuns. He's hit a lot of them on all the exchanges with Malzahar. He's hit all of them. And because of that, he's been able to win, or at least trade well.
Looks like we have...
You see Tsatsulow going down Tribush. It's not warded, so he could get a really good gank off.
Yeah, they had the wards there already, so they know that it didn't get rewarded or anything. And now a lot of folks are going to hear Class is for sure dead. But oh yeah, Benny Honda going away. They tried to put in a lot of burst damage. Wiz Fujin's actually going to last hit these minions to get a little bit of health back, make sure he doesn't die to that ignite, which is really smart by him. And that's another kill on the AD carry. And they're just going to keep snowballing this bottom lane. If I was them, this is exactly what I would do.
Burst damage just throughout their whole nuke. That was just nasty. They killed him so fast through his heals and everything.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty sick. And it's kind of interesting how the team comp of this team got switched up, because if you think about it, this was supposed to be Bishu's team. Wiz Fuji wasn't supposed to be on there. But instead you get this really good AD player, who's not, Bishu, obviously, if you put him in mid lane, he pretty much just wins the mid lane straight up. So, but instead you've basically given up that. You put in someone who, like I was saying earlier, plays a champion that they're really comfortable with, that can lane really well in Malzahar, like we see here. And a little bit of a gank coming in here. But so you switch him there, and then instead you pick up this great AD and you put your advantage in the bottom lane instead of having what would have been Bishu butting heads against RoshanNow in mid lane. So actually, I think it kind of worked out well for this team that Bishu didn't actually show up.
A Longley bought early oracles. This is like help them clear out wards, help bottom lane a lot. They'll have map control there, so it can help with Graves and Blitz not overextending too much without vision. So he's really just looking to roam, make sure the map's clear, and allow his lanes to play more aggressive. Oh, again, top lane, Swain.
This could be successful. He gets that snowball off. He's just not going to be enough. Great never move right there, trying to protect himself. But that Blood Boil, you are not getting away, buddy. And there's actually a kill in bottom lane again, and a kill in middle. Kills everywhere. I'm going to zip back in time really quickly to see exactly what's going on here. There's a trade attempt in bottom. Blitzcrank actually getting a grab onto Ezreal. They're going to take him down, and just full wombo combo onto Malzahar in mid. It's going to clear that up.
That grab was actually really good.
So jumping to live, it looks like red team is going to pick themselves up a dragon here and start getting a snowball lead. And oh wow, it's so close to getting stolen and possibly a kill. If that would have been a kill and a steal, best Ezreal ever. But unfortunately, it's just a little bit short on both.
Blue buff going to Roshan. Roshan's been doing a good job. He's up playing 3-1. And I think he can buy his DFG now. Yeah, so he'll have his DFG, and now he can just instantly 100-0 basically anyone mid-game. And he'll just be a real pain if he starts roaming bottom, trying to help Ezreal, who's pretty far behind. 1 and 3. He's managed to stay up in CS, but Graves has finished the Bloodthirster before him, and Ezreal was the one who got the DF sword first.
Yeah, it looks like right now RoshanNow's rocking plus 91 on his Baleful Strike, so he's farming that up pretty well. And one little combo puts Ice Raven, just a standard combo puts Ice Raven in half health. So Ice Raven has to be really, really careful. So he gets stunned, he's in a lot of trouble. Swift One now dueling with Invitica up in this top lane. Well, he's getting through a lot of Invitica's mana. He's actually going to blow his pool now and turn around and try to put some damage on him now that some cooldowns are down. This is actually really, really close. Ignite going on to the Swift One. Swift One's going to pop his heal and be able to survive again.
Oh, Swift One's just living on the edge up there.
Everybody's living on the edge. Look at this bottom lane. Everybody's at like 200, 250 health in this bottom lane, just kind of trading back and forth. This is pretty ridiculous.
That was really good by Swain. He was down 2 levels, but still managed to almost win the exchange. So it's kind of showing how he's winning mechanically top lane, not only in just like trade-wise. Oh, and a kill going down on middle. Roshan.
Unfortunately, that combo is just too quick for people to catch. So go ahead, by the way, you're stunned and you're instantly dead. Yeah, it's going to be a problem going forward, obviously. And that damage over time, Swift One obviously hating that at this point. And it's actually kind of interesting, that you mentioned that the Swift One actually gained, so many levels because he was under a lot of pressure early, and he was kind of the one on his back foot. But after that gank from Long Lee, he's got some breathing room, and apparently he's been able to zone out Invitica and get some traction here, this top lane.
Get the EXP back, and then just win trades. We see Tsatsulow coming up top for a gank. I think if the Swift One plays this right, he could bait Tsatsulow to engage, ulti, Q, and then cool away.
Yeah, I mean, he has a ward there. He knows it could come, so I think, he'd be pretty set up to try to defend that.
Tsatsulow has an Oracle. Never mind.
Oh,
so both junglers running
unfortunately,
Oracle.
Ice Raven in the middle lane was trying to pick up a kill on RoshanNow, but he put down his pool after he did his ult. If he would have thrown it down before, he would have been able to actually kill RoshanNow. Unfortunately, gets out a little bit late, and RoshanNow survives with just a little bit of health here.
A top lane, a gank by Nunu. Oh, just Nunu is camping top lane so hard.
I mean, he's to be honest, he's kind of everywhere. He's been doing some serious work, and there we see RoshanNow coming back in here, getting another kill off on Ice Raven. And what was looking like a game for Red Team, they were going to start pulling away with this bottom lane advantage. Bottom lane's kind of stalled out here.
Yeah, bottom lane's doing a good job not dying, basically. And the other lanes are just doing a good job winning. They were down, I think, quite a lot of gold, and now they've come back within 300. Roshan is actually out farming Malzahar now. He was down, I believe, 20 at some point, but now just you can't farm when you're dead.
Yeah, I'm actually impressed a little bit that Benny Honda's been able to keep up in CS with Wiz Fusion, because Wiz Fusion is notoriously very, very good last hitter, and they actually have a bunch of kills on him in that bottom lane. He's died 3 times. But still, he's hanging right with Wiz Fusion, only 10 CS behind, so props to him for hanging in there. Everyone, this game again is pulled pretty much even. There was a 2K lead starting for the red team, but after those last few kills in lane, we're pulling back to pretty much an even game, heading in here at about almost 20 minutes, 19 minutes. So nice little duels in all the lanes. I actually really like this game so far. It's actually kind of cool that we've got some. So
yeah, all the lanes are really aggressive, living on the edge with like 200 HP.
This could be what end up being one of the better games of the night, even, and kind of how I thought it would be. But with those team dynamic makeups, I think it's kind of shifted a little bit. See Hecarim sneaking down here through lane. Although they do have a ward, Hecarim's going to see it instantaneously.
Hecarim also picking up the blue buff, so it's kind of like they've left the mid lane to die. They're not even giving him blue buff at this point because they know it'll just go right back to Roshan.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with that play, that decision, because I mean, honestly, if someone could just one-shot combo you and it all comes down to a stun, you don't want to risk that. And you definitely don't want to give the RoshanNow a blue buff and let him just keep farming even more. Instead, a scenario like this might be even better. Gets the stun, is out of RoshanNow stun. Roshan's solo right now, and he's gone.
Good job by Hecarim. Malzahar still cooled afterwards, which doesn't help too much. He might have been better off cooling beforewards because he was getting a gank. It was kind of a guaranteed cool combo, but it was a good job picking up a kill, really helping mid lane.
And Tsatsulow's getting the gank squad, but he has so much speed. It's actually going to be... I don't even think they can catch him. Nah. Vlad doesn't have CC. Swiss one's like, I'm running. I don't even want to deal with this guy.
They had some friendly banter in chat. Forfeit 20.
Oh, wow. Trade down bottom. But who's going to come out on top? Looks like Clash trying to put out some damage here, but I'm sorry to tell you, I don't think Intimate Bedtime is going to be able to be taken down by Tarek. The support battles... What was that grab, Intimate Bedtime? The taunt grab, apparently, just to try to keep him there and maybe get him to type or something while Tsatsulow could come down and kill him.
They won that trade. Graves, I believe, got the kill while Tarek got the kill, so Graves does get more gold, but bottom lane's really equaled out from the lead that Ezreal started off with, and then the snowballing that Graves is pulling off. The two teams are grouping up for Dragon. There was great timing. They were ready for it. They cleared all the wards.
Yeah, it looks like Red has the better position right here. Blue really is in position to try to stop this. Yeah, maybe was expecting a true shot barrage, but low bold, red team picks up another dragon. So red team right now doing a really good job with the dragon control. Blue team had the early advantage with the buff control. Was trying to steal blue buffs, but after they kind of got thwarted by the smite steal, really haven't seen a lot of that play again yet. And red team though getting those dragons, giving them that little bit of edge, keeping them in the game even. They're down about 2 kills so far.
Despite being down 2 towers, both mid and top lane, and giving out a lot of map awareness, them being able to take those 2 dragons helps them keep them ahead in gold, even though they're down in kills, they're down in towers, and generally the lanes, their top and mid lane are losing. The dragons really help them keep them together.
Yeah, the Swift one actually now is about 40 CS ahead of his opponent, or he was actually a second ago. Now he's only like 20 CS, but he was looking really, really good. He still is looking pretty strong, and as a Vlad player, if you get ahead, your late game and that passive, I mean, they're meant to be, so... Really, the hardest part is just getting out of that early game unscathed, and Swift one's been able to do it, and now we see a full press onto mid lane. They see the out of position of the red team.
Yeah, they saw him
taking
taking
that bottom turret, and they're pressing hard.
They're going to get this tower, and this is a great call. They gave up the bottom tower, but bottom tower really doesn't give too much map awareness with Baron, and they're on the game. It's not as important. While they took the second tier mid tower, and Raven just getting 100 to 0, tower driven, and then walking away like it was nothing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the danger of going against a Viger like this. And RoshanNow can play it. Uh-oh. Tsatsulow saw... He saw a kill in Benny Honda. He wanted that bad, but Benny Honda being able to arcane shift out of there. Get out of dodge. Oh, another great catch by RoshanNow. Putting a lot of pressure onto them. Coming here. Wiz Fujin's going to be the key, I think, to a lot of this fight. Red Team's going to come out of this pretty unscathed. A lot of members actually diving into Wiz Fujin. They're going to be able to put off the damage. Going to be able to kill him, take him down. He is out of this fight right now. Now they have a lot of cooldown based damage. They don't have a lot of sustained damage in here. A lot of the blue team's still alive. Swain's gonna fall. Tsatsulow the only one alive, but no one falls.
The Swift one lives at 50
wow,
HP.
RoshanNow actually does fall, finally.
The Swift one lives at 50 HP again. He's not meant to die this game. Riot have decided like, oh, you're low HP, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually pretty crazy, like how many times he's been low. This has to be one of the most times like someone's been low and survived with an ignite on them, especially too, in a game that I've seen. He just will not die. It's actually kind of impressive. So right now, even with the kills that were going on in bottom lane, Graves has a QSS, but damage-wise, they're pretty much even.
He got the QSS because he's basically the savior for this team at this point.
Oh yeah.
Swain's pretty far behind. Malzahar is 1 in 6. So you need the QSS.
Tsatsulow getting picked off there in the jungle. That is not a good sign for them. And blue team, they have Baron control at this point if they want it. There's no smite on the battlefield. They have consume and smite. Wouldn't be much of
they might
do
beat
to
it
stop
with
this.
Roshan and the stuns. Oh, Roshan getting caught out of position middle. If they can pick up the skill. Oh, that was a great Nevermore, and that's a dead Roshan.
Yeah, but I think if they're able to pick off the Baron, it'll be worth it. But the question is, will red team get there in time? Their damage is kind of lacking. It's going to be very, very close, but they have consume and smite, and so, yeah, they've got it. Red team just a little bit late on that rotation, but they were able to pick up Roshan. Roshan's not going to get that buff, but I don't know if it really, really matters. I think the extra sustain is going to help give blue team the confidence to just throw their weight around a little bit more on this map. They need to get all their lanes pushing right now. Bottom lanes, auto pushing them because they haven't taken down that bottom turret. Mid lane's being pushed out, so red team's doing a good job giving themselves some breathing room. Both teams doing a good job warding. Blue team with a lot of wards into the enemy's jungle. Red team with a lot of defensive wards and river wards. So I like the warding from actually both teams here setting up, and I don't believe, Longley still has his Oracle, which is good for their team. Good sign. But Tsatsulow,
he's had it after his first death. He's had this Oracle, and it's probably paid off by this point.
Oh yeah, for sure.
With the amount of just killed.
Yeah, and Tsatsulow dying, he lost his, so they actually have complete ward advantage here. It looks like they're going to focus on this mid turret. They can take it.
It was a good call. They saw that they were out of position, and any objective is important. So just taking all these little objectives really helps out. They're only down 800 gold, despite being down 3 towers, a Baron, and just general lane control. That just shows the importance of taking objectives early on, such as Dragon.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like the key to their team is to be able, if they can somehow pick off RoshanNow before he gets off a combo. That's because basically what's happening now is RoshanNow is picking off someone on their team, blowing him up, and they have to fight 5v4 all the time. So I think if they can actually, we said earlier they have a little bit better, hard engage if they want it onto their opponents. If they can somehow get an engagement on or pick off RoshanNow, get rid of all that upfront damage, I think they can take the rest of their team fairly easily.
It's kind of funny, the team that's facing Malzahar has built 0 QSSs, but the team with Malzahar has built 2. So it just kind of shows.
Go figure.
And we see them picking up basically a free dragon. They don't want to contest this with Baron buff up. No oracles. So that's the first dragon going to blue team. Now really help them pull out lead. They're about 2k gold ahead now.
Oh, this is so bad. They had no vision of this going in here. We see Tsatsulow trying to initiate with a fear, but this is actually working out really good focus actually right there. Wiz Fujin is sitting around the corner. He's unscathed, and this fight's actually gone great for them.
This fight went just like you said. While they did try to bait it, Veigar wasn't able to kill one of their members instantly. So the fight was actually a 5v5, and Malzahar was on the other side of the wall getting a full ulti off without being any disruption.
Oh wow, we have a big trade going on here. Blue team's actually been able to turn this quite around. RoshanNow was able to completely blow up Swain running in there a little bit too confidently. And Longley and RoshanNow still up for their team after taking down 3 of the enemy team. They kind of threw that one a little bit right there. They had
they had the lead, but running into Ezreal like that, they threw 3 kills. For 1 additional kill, they could have taken an objective or something, but instead they just traded kills.
Yeah, I would have started clearing out some more turrets. That definitely should have been their MO, especially with a low RoshanNow. The only way he's going to get the drop on you and be able to do anything is if you can't see him, and face checking towards brush. That's the way. And especially with Longley there, Longley was setting up the absolute 0. Luckily, Tsatsulow actually caught right onto it, instantaneously backed off out of it. And the rest of the team didn't go straight into it, but still, that could have been really bad if they actually would have face checked that, and it could have been wiped. That would have been embarrassing.
Just the heavy focus on MR. They have 2 QSSs. Swain's probably going for an Abyssal Scepter right now with a Chalice. Hecarim built a Hex Drinker and a Negatron Cloak. Blitzcrank built a Negatron Cloak. Ezreal is basically hitting for true damage because of their lack of armor. So they really need to focus him, because he'll just tear through them if he's left unscathed like he was that last fight.
Oh, the QSS coming into play. Roshan now almost being able to catch himself a big fish right there.
I'm surprised Malzahar, I shouldn't have said, he didn't get a Merc Treads despite.
Oh, wow. He got baited into it yet again, and they're going to put a lot of damage on RoshanNow, but RoshanNow's already done his damage. You know, he got in there, he killed Fujin, and red team without Fujin is a really sorry sight. Like, they need that guy.
So it's, blue team picking up their AD carry. They're going to get a free and hit, and probably proceed to bottom lane if that is pushing.
Oh. Yeah, so picking up the first inhib, that's going to give them a huge advantage here now, and they're probably going to rotate down. They could probably take another turret. They could probably take bot turret if they really wanted to. Great ward clearing, still keeping that oracles for as long as they are. Red team with not a lot of vision. They basically have vision around middle. Blue team actually has no wards up right now. That's one thing I would probably tell. If there's anything they could do better right now, it would probably be to carry some more wards with them. It looks like they planned down one here by blue buff. Hecarim just kind of face checking that, but it's okay. He can survive through it. And Hecarim with that oracles now, so that's going to help out their team be able to protect themselves. Meanwhile, we have the split push. A split push is going down by Benny Honda right here.
Doing massive damage. He'll be able to get the tower, I believe, but he'll die in the process. Yes. So a tower for a kill, and it's worth it. No objective. Objectives are always better than kills because you get kills to get objectives.
Oh yeah, and I mean, to be honest, taking an objective that's global gold for your team, it's far more gold than they were able to pick up off that Israel. So,
I see Vlad doing the same bottom lane, pushing that, just split pushing. He's pushing already lane.
Yeah, Red's is gonna have to push really hard here if they want to make anything happen. Yeah, it looks like blue just might counter push, and they would be right for it. They're way ahead. Baron just popped up, but they don't even care about it. They just need towers.
They're seeing a base race here. Red just not caring anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if they just charge the base, I mean, what is Red gonna do? They'd have to start blue pilling now to defend this.
Really questionable call, seeing as they have super minions. I don't see why blue team aren't pursuing one of these two towers.
Oh wait, blue team went back? Oh wow, I can't believe blue team went back.
I think that was a wrong call because they're going to give up this inhibitor tower. Or not, but they could have ended the game.
Some bad pathing right there for Invitica. But yeah, I think they could have actually won that game right then and there. Instead they're doing like a big huge chase down thing right now, but I think they totally could have won.
They might win now.
They might win now anyways. This is correct.
Yeah, they might just win
technically,
anyway.
This is safer.
Or slow.
Class being a boss just running in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is probably going to be game after Baron. So they pretty much won the game anyways, but I think they could have just ended it right there. So, in hindsight, maybe going back, obviously is the right call because you don't even risk a base race, but I still think they could have finished it.
And Benny was a 1300 elo player, and he was doing a great job versus carrying his team, doing a really good job keeping up in CS. He fell behind, but they worked out well, and they managed to tie bottom, and they're gonna win the game.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to hang with Fujin's early advantage and still be able to farm up, and the rest of his team did so well by winning those other lanes that they were able to carry really well. And I have to be really impressed with a lot of the play from these teams. I think the Swift one especially too, surviving through all that, getting the level advantage and pulling through, and of course RoshanNow being an absolute stud in that mid lane. I mean, props to the blue team.
He really knew how much damage he could take. He had the best calculations and just used that. See Hecarim running with their trying to start a fight.
Now. Swift one actually catching quite a few members here. He's going to try to get out of dodge again. Will he survive? The heal's going down. Fujin wants to kill him, but Swift one's still going to live. And Swift one might even come back in here and get some lifesteal. Fujin trying to 1v3 right now, and he can probably do it. Oh, Luke loses some vision, eats the absolute zero, doesn't care. Luckily, Ezreal comes back in and cleans up for him, because otherwise I don't think that crew is going to have a very good time against Wiz Fujin. Which is still
Wiz
kind of funny
Fujin
to
asking
see.
for 1 kill out of the 3 there. We should see a good game. It was really well played by blue team. They hung it out and just played their mid game beautifully.
Yeah, they played their mid game. You know, we were talking; they were pretty much dead even around the 20-minute mark, and then after that, you know, they kind of turned it on, took more objectives, and rolled their advantage very, very well. Made some great calls there too.